Hello, welcome along once again to It'll Be Alright in the 90s and the second part of our chat about the music videos of the 1990s with Joe Barter. If you haven't heard part 1 yet, which came out last week, please do go back and listen to that part first. There's plenty there and there's plenty here as well, plenty more chat from us to come. I think, if I'm right in saying, Alex, this is where it all begins to fall apart slightly for me. So you've got that to look forward to, guys. So please do listen on and enjoy part 2 of our chat about the music videos of the 90s with our resident pop expert, Joe Barter.
This is someone who's had an amazing 90s, I'd say, with some amazing videos. It is, of course, Madonna, the queen of pop. Nearly went for Bad Girl, which, if you haven't seen it, I would recommend, directed by David Fincher, who went on to make Seven and lots of films, Fight Club. And it's basically like a movie in itself. It's got Christopher Walken in it, pre his appearance in the Fatboy Slim video. He's like the angel of death, like watching over her, and it's really good. So I nearly went for that one, but I decided to go for a Chris Cunningham video. We should probably actually start playing it, shouldn't we? It's called Frozen, so I'll cue it up. Oh, okay. It's another ad. 14 seconds. Why do they keep doing this to me?
You're being hit by the big ones today.
Yeah.
That's because they know you're susceptible to it.
Only the Stereophonics video hasn't had an ad so far, which is hopefully Peter Brand didn't want to monetize it.
Well, that's exactly it, yeah. Okay, let's go.
So yeah, I could have chosen any Chris Cunningham video. I don't know if you're familiar with his work. I feel like if you ever see one of his videos, you'll know immediately it's by him. He did a couple of auteurs videos. I think Stu's mentioned the auteurs on this podcast before. Yes, I have,
yes.
Back with the Killer and Light Aircraft on Fire. He's mostly famous for his Aphex Twin videos, but he did lots of other stuff, especially in the 90s. I think this is the only time he's worked with a quote-unquote big artist, like Madonna-size artist, and I believe he said he'd never do it again. I think he said he's very much got a vision when he makes a video, and I guess when you're working with someone as powerful as Madonna, they've got their own vision, or I think there was a lot of like budget limitations and stuff. So I think Chris said that it wasn't exactly what he envisaged, but I think it looks stunning. I think Madonna looks amazing with dark hair. She's basically dancing around in this desert. She's got henna tattoos on. She morphs into various animals. It's an amazing song as well from the Ray of Light album, which is, I think, I don't want to slag off any Madonna albums because I think they're all really good, but I don't think Bedtime Stories, the previous album, was a lot of people's favourite necessarily. So this was like quite a big comeback single for her, even though she'd never really left it very long between albums. Possibly, actually, I'm maybe talking rubbish because it's maybe after Evita, which was obviously quite a big success. But anyway, this feels like a big first single of an album. She performed it on the National Lottery. I don't know if I mentioned that on the last time on the podcast. It's not quite top of the pops, but used to get some big artists on the National Lottery back in those days. Mm-hmm. This is 1998. Did she
press the button to release the balls as well?
I don't know. I imagine Madonna's too good for pressing buttons to release balls.
Releasing those big money balls. They were big money balls, though. So.
Big money balls.
Madonna's got too many big
I bet she probably requested that it was Lancelot as well. I bet she specifically said, I'm only going to press it if it's Lancelot.
I was going to suggest that the title of this episode would be Howard Donald's Oscar-worthy acting, and now I think it's going to have to be Madonna's Big Money Balls.
This is such a cool video. I think you're right. I think this was sort of a comeback song. I'm not sure about like what her last album was, but I'm sure I remember this being like, oh, Madonna's back, and it's like been a bit of a while.
I think it was a big deal. Yeah.
There's bits of this I don't know how they did it, like
especially in '98.
Well, yeah. And it's a really good song as well. It's one of my favourite Madonna songs.
Well, as you say, Joe, the look is fantastic. I have to say. And is this around the time that she did the song for the Austin Powers movie as well? Was that the same album?
Yeah, this may have been a year or two before. I don't think Beautiful Stranger's on the album, but it's possibly in the same couple of years. I imagine Austin Powers is early noughties, if not 99, maybe.
I think it might have been. Was Beyonce in one of those?
Yeah, Beyonce wasn't one of her first singles from, was it called like Check It Out or something, or Work It Out? I think she's in the third Austin Powers film, maybe.
We've already established I know nothing about hip hop, so I don't even know why I'm trying.
This song itself it's got that. It's so obvious it's William Orbit. I think it's got. I really noticed it. Listen to it for this that it sounds quite similar to Pure Shores by what's her name?
Yes, All Saints.
All Saints.
Yeah.
Well, I thought because it does sound exactly the same as Pure Shores, but I have a feeling. Oh no, this is a William Orbit. I thought it was Patrick Leonard, but he wrote it. It's produced by Madonna, William Orbit, and Patrick Leonard. Yeah, I mean, it would have been mad if this wasn't a William Orbit song.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great as well. He did some great stuff in the 90s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some great dancing from Madonna here. Wobbly hand dancing.
My mother had this on CD single, and she wasn't much of a CD single purchaser.
Must have made quite an impression on Gina then.
Yeah. I think the one previous to that was about 25 copies of Candle in the Wind 97.
Yeah, that's. I feel like I might have said this on the podcast before, but yeah, my grandma definitely had the Candle in the Wind CD single, and I've not. And maybe she bought like Unchained Melody by Robson and Jerome, but certainly she wasn't buying many CD singles.
Just going back to Evita there that you mentioned as well. Also starring in Evita was character actor of the pod, Sir Jimmy Nail. I just wanted to say that to get a mention of him in. Yeah, he's in there. Yeah, he has a. It's not a particularly big part, but he does have a song, I think, in the film. So yeah, there you go.
I've never seen the film, despite being a big Madonna fan. I am ashamed to admit.
I've never seen that either. No.
Me neither, and I'm a huge Jimmy Nail fan, as we know. So.
I thought you were a completist when it came to Nail, but clearly not.
So the next episode is going to be an Evita watch along. We're all decided.
Yeah,
just the Jimmy Nail bit. So my third and final choice, I'm going animated for this choice. First one, and I think the only video we've got that's animated. But I'm going for Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Let's go. So my story with Californication is that in the mid to late 90s, my parents didn't decide to get Sky or any sort of satellite television until about 2005. So when I visited friends' houses and families' houses and they had Sky, I was always looking to sort of soak up as much of it as I could. I remember once getting to see an Aston Villa game live on Sky Sports at one of my family's houses, which I was very, very excited about. But this is my introduction again, as the pick apart this new video was my introduction to the Stereophonics. This was my introduction to the Chili Peppers, another band who have stayed a favourite of mine. And I'm going to see them for the first time later this year at the London Stadium when they come to the UK. I remember seeing this on a music channel at my Uncle Chris's house, and just thinking, falling totally in love with the video, and also obviously thinking it was a great song. It's very heavily based on the Crazy Taxi video game, which
familiar,
which wasn't actually available in the US at the time. So I've listened to in preparation for this. I knew I had some director's commentary on the Greatest Hits DVD that I've got. Nice. So I dug that out and listened to the director's commentary, and they had to get a grey import of Crazy Taxi to sort of base it on. You see John Frusciante's white Gibson. Shit, I'm going to say that again.
There's no editing.
Can't cut out.
No. This is all on time.
No. It's a Gretsch White Falcon.
You got the guitar wrong, listeners.
No, that's it. First the Elastica thing, and now this. I'd like to formally tender my resignation. So I love that guitar, the White Falcon, which obviously I grew to appreciate more as time went on, and I got into guitars and playing guitar myself. I just think it's a fantastic video. It was the first computer-generated video that I'd really seen as well. I know there had been ones previously, like I think the Money for Nothing video was the first one, and things like that. But obviously that was quite primitive at the time, and this was using the cutting-edge technology of the day. And I just think it's a great video for a great song, and it led me on to a great album, and we go from there. And that's why it's got a special place for me. What do you guys think?
Well, I'm glad you said about the Crazy Taxi thing, because I just assumed it was a GTA homage. that I looked at it, and this predates GTA 3, the first 3D
Indeed,
Grand Theft Auto game. Also, in my fact box, directed by Jonathan Dainton and Valerie Faris. Also, came out in the year 2000, so you're disqualified from the podcast, you. I think the album came out in 99. The single came out in 2000. So yeah, I'm tempted to make you walk away from the episode and the podcast, but I mean, I'll allow it if everyone else wants to.
Oh my god, it's all falling apart. It's all falling apart.
Watching the DVD commentary, didn't even look at when the video came out. I'm sure that Jonathan and Valerie were working on it in the 90s, so you might be able to get away with it.
They must have been, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you give me it that the song was 1999? Can you give me that?
I think we have to. Otherwise, you really would have to go. That's. I think we're all most of the songs we're dealing with are towards the end of the decade, aren't they? And this is just
I think so.
Right at the end.
So another aspect of it here, which I can mention, is that they spoke to the band to get different aspects of their interests into the video. So John Frusciante was a fan of the work of Leonardo da Vinci, which is why you see him on the flying machines and all that sort of thing. Chad Smith, the drummer, says he doesn't know how he ended up on a snowboard because he's never been on a snowboard in his life. So there we go. That is one thing I took from the director's commentary. The parts where the band are playing as well with the sky backdrop, I think, look fantastic as well.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
And this is sorry.
I was just gonna say this song really is like the one that made the Chili Peppers sort of mainstream in this country, wasn't it? I know it was under British and stuff, but I think I really remember this album coming out and everyone really loving this song especially. Yeah.
So this is the first one where John Frusciante had left and then returned to the band, right?
That's right. Yeah,
sort of changed the game for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done one hot minute with Dave Navarro in the interim when he'd left after the Blood Sugar Sex Magic album, and but Californication was the real return to form for them, which lasted through until he left the band again in 2006, and now obviously he's back again. So there we are for a third spell.
Have you heard the new single? I know we shouldn't really talk about it, but have you heard the new single?
Well, I mean, everything's out the window now, isn't it? So we might as well talk about it.
There are no rules.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's a great single. Looking forward to hearing the album when it comes out the start of April, I think.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I'm glad we got some Chili's on there. Also, just a quick mention for Flea's classic shell pink Fender bass. I'm not sure what sort of bass, if it's a jazz bass or a P bass or whatever, but an iconic instrument in 90s music, I'd say. Right, so I think we're on to my third and final choice.
Would you look at that? Released as a single in June 2000. I never even checked. I never even checked.
It's the summer 2000 as well. I just assumed it was 99 as well.
January.
That really sucks. I'm sorry to have interrupted you, mate, but I had to.
We're gonna have to bleep that whole bit out now. One long bleep.
Everyone's gonna sit and watch Californication in silence.
5.5 minute long bleep. Jesus.
Or I guess we have to erase any mention of Californication, and then there's just, I don't know.
Let's move on, please.
Okay, so my final choice is, now I'm paranoid that it's not the 90s, but
I think
I've got it on my fact sheet, don't worry.
I think we're on safe ground here.
As far as I know, it came out in November 1998, so I think we're okay. It is All I Need by Air. Okay, and press play now. So I don't know if, we'll have linked to this in the description, but this video, for some reason, on the Air official YouTube channel is called Moon Safari, rather than, which is the name of the album it was on. I couldn't find it anywhere for All I Need, under All I Need. I don't know what's going on there. And also the version that's under this official YouTube channel is really low res. It's like 240. I don't know what's going on. I was going to say,
what do you make of this, Joe?
I mean, it's not ideal quality wise, but I'll allow it. I allowed Stereophonics.
It's even got it's got a Spanish subtitles, so it's like it's not. It doesn't seem like it's the official video. I don't know why it would have the subtitles otherwise.
Oh, I assumed it was French subtitles because they're French, but I've not really been paying attention to the subtitles.
Yeah, that would make more sense actually. I don't know why I thought it was Spanish. There's no one saying anything, so I can't see him again. I'm probably embarrassed
Say
myself.
something.
So. But yeah, this video is directed by, like with other ones that have been mentioned, another famous director, and that's Mike Mills. I didn't realise this until I did some research.
They're definitely French subtitles.
That's French. I've embarrassed myself. But yes, directed by Mike Mills, who has done some feature films. He did 20th Century Women, which I really liked a few years ago, and he did Come On, Come On, which came out, I think, the beginning of this year or the end of last year. So he's like quite a recognised director. But he, so the video is kind of like a mini documentary about this apparently a real life couple, young skater couple, looks like sort of teenagers or early 20s maybe, set in it's filmed in Ventura, California, which is where this couple is from. Apparently, according to Wikipedia, they've since broken up, which is very sad. But it's just it's kind of what I wanted at this point in my life, which is a kind of suburban American angsty coming of age sort of relationshipy stuff. It's why I loved Dawson's Creek, which actually started in the same year as this. So that's why it appealed to me. I didn't actually know at that point. I didn't know the song then. It was a couple of years later. But looking back, I really liked it then, and I still like it. Just that sort of orange glow of suburban California, which I really like.
Through an Instagram filter.
Yeah, exactly.
California.
And I love the song as well. It's
the whole album is fantastic. Safari.
Yeah. And I just chose it for that really. I think it's a fairly well known video. Maybe I'm not sure. I wouldn't say it was sort of infamous or anything, but I remember seeing it around the time it came out, and it was quite a big deal. It's kind of similar to another video called by a band called American Football called Never Meant, which it also follows a young couple, which I recommend people watch. But that song came out in '97, but the video didn't come out till 2014, so we couldn't really talk about it anyway. Not unless we were following Siouxsie's rules. Do either of you two have any opinions on this song or video or band? I know Joe, you just said it was a great album.
Yeah, I was quite into Air quite early on as a teenager. I can't fault Moon Safari, and I love 10,000 Hertz Legends as well. The second album is very good, a bit weirder. I wasn't that familiar with the video. I think I probably only saw that in the last few years, maybe the advent of YouTube. It's a cool idea just to, like you say, documentary style, focusing on the lives of young people. And it's just cool to see California filmed, like I said, through an Instagram filter. Not much to say other than that, really. It's great.
Cool.
I also, I've also listened to Moon Safari many times over the years. Fantastic album. Love the track. I hadn't seen the video before. I'm sorry to hear they've broken up now, which is a real shame. That's the main thing. My heart really goes out to them. I just hope it was I hope it wasn't a nasty breakup. That's all.
Yeah, because now they have to see that video getting maybe 2 million. Oh no, 1,192,327 views, and we've just given it 3 more.
Mm-hmm. Oh well, young love. Okay, that's all my choices. I think we're on to some wild cards now. Yeah,
I have a wild card to mention. Do you have a wild card, Joe, as well?
I've got a list of honourable mentions, so I could certainly make one of them a wild card. Yeah.
Do you want to have a look at your list first? Because I've got one here that definitely warrants a mention, as you guys already know.
Yeah. All right, I will go for Aphex Twin, who I mentioned earlier, and I'll go for Donkey Rhubarb.
Okay, and should we play now?
Yeah. So, this isn't the obvious Aphex Twin choice. I think Come to Daddy, the Chris Cunningham video, is probably the most famous one. This one, I'd say mostly notable for some people dressed as giant coloured fluffy teddy bears, but they've all got the face of Richard D. James, the Aphex Twin, who's got hopefully you wouldn't mind me saying, a fairly evil-looking face. The most interesting thing I think about this is that it predates the Teletubbies. You'd think this would be like a sort of spoof of the Teletubbies, but with a creepy face. But no, I think this is from maybe 95 or 96, so pre-Teletubbies. One's holding like a wrench there. They're sort of dancing around with children in quite an unsettling way. It's also notable, one of the teddy bears, I don't know if we can see him at the moment, there he is, he's just doing pelvic thrusting all the way through the video. So that's about all I've got to say on it. I'm now maybe starting to regret my choice because we've got to fill another sort of 3.5, 4 minutes.
I think
what do you guys
why
make
don't we
of
make
this
a gentleman's agreement to stop it there?
I think,
I mean, it's to be expected for an Aphex Twin video. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I don't think he ever did anything normally.
No. I think it's. I've not seen this video before. I'd say Window Licker as well is also like.
That's amazing.
Big, Cunningham Aphex Twin video. I've got some. Maybe while this is playing, I can just mention my special. What's the word?
Honourable mentions.
Honourable mention.
Shout
for
outs.
Chris Cunningham. Yeah, Chris Cunningham. His other work. I think I almost chose All Is Full of Love by Bjork.
Oh, so did I. Amazing.
Because I love that song. It's one of my favourite Bjork songs, and the video's really clever. And also Africa Shocks by Left Field featuring Africa Bambaataa.
Yeah.
Where the guy sort of walking around and then sort of shatters as he sort of falls over and stuff. That's another great Chris Cunningham video. So, yeah.
So this isn't actually Chris Cunningham. I'll just see if I can find out who it is. I think this is pre Chris's involvement with Richard D. James.
It does look a bit different, actually. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Oh, no. Any more thoughts, Stu?
I'm pretty much entranced by it, I have to say.
It is difficult to turn away. Indeed. Directed by David Slade, who went on to direct Hard Candy, 30 Days of Night, Eclipse, the Twilight film. So yeah, obviously went on to bigger things as well.
It's interesting how many. I guess we kind of knew, like, that's the thing, isn't it? Film directors start off doing music videos, but I hadn't realised how many music videos were directed by people who were subsequently quite big for other things.
Yeah.
Is it like a recognised rung on the ladder then, the directing ladder, to do music videos first? Or
I think so. I think it goes like adverts, music videos, film, TV maybe, films. Yeah, I think a lot of, I feel like maybe like Michael Bay, people like that started out doing music videos.
I think maybe Michael Bay did the female objectification bits of Still the RE. Maybe
I think he's still doing that.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have a honourable mention. I started with Take That. I'm going to finish with Take That. But before I do, and seeing as I've been all over the place in this episode anyway, there's another fact about the How Deep Is Your Love video I didn't mention at the time that I can't let lie. So the lady who was holding Take That hostage in her cellar and ended up throwing Gary Barlow off of the cliff into the reservoir, Alex, was actually already famous in Britain for her appearance in the advert for the Mark II Volkswagen Golf, the famous advert that's backed by Young at Heart by the Bluebells. Which was 1987, but seeing as we're, as I say, all over the place, we'll mention it anyway. Paula Hamilton, her name is. I forgot to mention that at the time, so there we go. Respect to Paula.
I thought she said
okay. So moving on to my honourable mention, then I'm going for Take That's first video as my last choice, and this is Do What You Like from 1991.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. So this was made on the cheap, as you can see, in a TV studio in Stockport. I don't know why that's funny, but it is hilarious. Visit hilarious Stockport. In 1991, this was their first single. The videos on the aforementioned greatest hits VHS I had were in reverse chronological order. So it began with How Deep Is Your Love and ended with this. I always fast forwarded How Deep Is Your Love because I didn't like Gary Barlow getting killed at the end. I always fast forwarded this, or I should say stopped the video before it got to this. I must have just been a bit of a prude as a younger man. I just don't think I liked the. I mean, you'll be able to see it now if you're watching along, but all of the food smearing and the, the nakedness. I just wasn't a fan, and I don't really like the video now. It has to be said. I don't think the band like it very much. Certainly, the uncensored version, I should say, it seems to have disappeared from public. Seems to have disappeared from the public domain. This is the version that was on the Greatest Hits VHS and just ends with them completely naked. They're on their fronts, lying on the floor, but they're completely naked, covered in food. And from what I remember reading, it was an early attempt to get the video banned and gain some like notoriety that way.
Okay.
Which they were successful in doing, and it was banned from daytime TV for obvious reasons. It's probably for the best that the full version's no longer.
I read. Oh, is Stu frozen there?
Yeah, it looks like he has. I really hope that's not interrupting the recording.
No, yeah. Gary Barlow is throwing him off.
He's been triggered again by the talk. Oh, there he is.
Stylistically, or in the way they look, I said they look great in the other video. I don't think they could look any different in the two different videos than they do. I don't know what you guys think. It's really hotting up now, as you can see.
Yeah, it really is hotting up, and it's hard to watch. Kind of, I think it's the food thing. It's just making me want to have a shower.
Well, I don't think I understand many fetishes, but food on human bodies is not something I've ever understood or fancied doing. And this is not encouraging me.
It really does smack of, to me, what can we do on the cheap that is going to have a sort of shock effect? And with a totally white studio. And this was clearly it. And the shot that it fades out on is quite disarming as well.
Yeah.
So I couldn't let Do What You Like go without a mention. And that's my wild card for tonight.
Nice. What a low point to end on.
Well, we started with some real high points, didn't we? So there you are.
Yeah, I was going to have a wild card. My wild card was going to be Everything I Do, brackets I Do It For You by Bryan Adams. I already talked about it on our Top of the Pops episode, but I want to talk about the video because I love the video, and because I love everything about that film and song. But it's not anywhere on YouTube. I can't find it on Dailymotion or Vimeo. For some reason it's been, I don't know, wiped from public use.
He doesn't get naked and smear himself with food at the end, does he?
No, I don't think he did. I will say I did look up a bit of info about it though, and it was filmed because you probably remember it. It's sort of set them playing it live in this forest, much like the forest in the film. But that was filmed in near a derelict silk mill near Holford in the Quantock Hills, which I think is in Somerset or Gloucestershire. It's quite close to us.
It is, yeah.
So I've hereby proposed that we have our first It'll Be Alright in the 90s field trip to the derelict silk mill near Holford in the Quantock Hills.
I very much think so.
And one day we have to go there, and we have to, if not recreate it, at least pay homage to
a reenactment.
We'd better beware though, because it might be a hotspot for local BA fans. So we'll need to we'll need to be aware.
Yeah.
I was going to do some honourable mentions myself, some shout outs. Sophie Muller is a director that did loads of amazing stuff in the 90s. And I'm regretting not choosing When Do I Get to Sing My Way by Sparks already, which is a great video. She did loads of amazing Annie Lennox stuff. Alex mentioned Björk earlier. Like basically all of her videos ever have been amazing, especially in the 90s. Wish we could have slotted some Björk in. Radiohead, I was thinking they had some pretty good videos. Janet Jackson's got some pretty stunning stuff from the 90s. So they're my shout outs. And I was also going to say, I feel like I haven't really gone for videos that I remember from the time. Like I've gone for my favourite videos now. So I was also going to briefly talk about stuff that I actually like. If I travel back, think about what I actually remember from the time. Firestarter probably had I might have talked about this on the Top of the Pops episode, but Firestarter had a big impact on me. Bittersweet Symphony, I remember. Probably on Top of the Pops. Brimful of Asher, I remember that video being on a lot. Don't Speak by No Doubt.
Oh yeah,
great choice.
I'll Be Missing You by the aforementioned Puff Daddy.
Falls off his motorbike, doesn't he?
Torn by Natalie Imbruglia.
Yeah,
definitely remember that video. Anything involving the Spice Girls.
Yeah,
I feel like all of their videos are ingrained, 90 videos ingrained in my brainium. I've got Triumph by the Wu-Tang Clan. I don't remember that from the time, but I feel like that is a bee invasion of New York. So that's possibly worth a watch. And I think it's the only video that features all 200 members of the Wu-Tang Clan. So that's maybe worth seeking out.
Excellent. Well, I think there's definitely, as we said with the Top of the Pops episode, there's definitely more meat on the bone here, and we can obviously talk about this for hours more. So maybe we can do another episode sometime and have a music videos
Series 2.
redux. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. As I said, a few of our listeners have written in with some of their favourites as well. We put out the shouts on social media for you guys to get involved, and you have done in your numbers. Alex, what have you got over there first?
Okay, on the Facebook, we had some great correspondence. John Murphy said, Aphex Twin, Come to Daddy, as Joe's already mentioned that one. He says it's weirdly iconic, terrifying, sensory overload about generational divide and the nefarious influence of TV. It's so well edited along with such a dizzying arrangement of music, and I'm sure the grinning masks have been the stuff of people's nightmares. And any video by Chris Cunningham is up there, including Bjork's All Is Full of Love. So another shout out for that, for Cunningham and Bjork.
That's more intelligent than anything any of us have said.
Yeah. Hang on, I did say the thing about Robbie.
Analysis.
I said the thing about Robbie in being represented by the woman.
That is true. That is true. Right.
Terry said on Facebook, Busta Rhymes, give me some more. Plus the majority of 90s videos directed by Hype Williams. So another shout out for Hype Williams. Vince said Bad Touch by Bloodhound Gang, which he says is totally bonkers vid for a banging tune, which I totally agree with. Ian listed quite a lot of things. I'm just going to list them. Smack My Bitch Up by The Prodigy. He says it's got shot really well in first person before GoPros were even a thing, which is true. And a big twist at the end, famous twist. Unfinished Sympathy, by Massive Attack. I've only recently realised that's not Unfinished Symphony. I thought for my whole life that was Symphony, but it's Sympathy, which is also a great video. Buddy Holly by Weezer. The Far Side Drop, which is shot in reverse, I guess similar
that's
to
amazing.
And Radiohead Just. He says left wondering what the hell's going on, but it's shot really well. And he also says Praise You by Fatboy Slim, which was shot guerrilla style and apparently cost $800 to make, which is impressive. Terry also said My Own Summer by Deftones, which is a massive tune. I agree with that. And finally, brother of the pod, Adam, said Ziploc by Lit. He says, I don't think I saw this until years later, but the video for Ziploc by Lit had a What's My Age Again crossover cameo by Blink-182. And they were comfortably my two favourite bands at the very end of the decade. I had both albums copied onto different sides of the same cassette, which never left the car. So, some great thoughts there from everyone on Facebook.
Fantastic.
Stu, what about you?
Well, I've got some previous guests of the pod have got involved. It's Lee Burns again who starts us off. He's really been hot on the correspondence tonight. And he nominates Angels by Robbie Williams. We know that that's a song that he entertained the gathered throngs with after the Vars final. He said he loves the helicopter action in the video for Angels. Glyn, the dad of the pod, has mentioned Love Is Strong by the Rolling Stones, which is a Godzilla-esque video. They're sort of giant and they're looking over the cityscape, and they're sort of superimposed over the city, but they're looming over it and playing the song, which and it's all in black and white as well. It's a lovely video. And Beth, the wife of the pod, nominates Stay by Shakespeare's Sister, which Joe and I have seen quite a lot of recently on the Top of the Pops repeats, and Earth Song by Michael Jackson. And she says of both of those videos, for Shakespeare's Sister, she liked the fact that they were quite gothy, and she might have just fancied them both a little bit. And then for a song, she mentions that her favourite part is when he's holding on to the two trees and being blown away over the side of the trees. I've also got here, and I can't remember why I've written this down, but underneath Shakespeare's Sister, I've got Michael Schumacher written down, but neither her or I can remember what led us on to that. Obviously, I'd written it down with the intention of mentioning it, but it's totally gone from both of our minds. So if we come round to that and remember what it was, I will let you know in a future episode. Thanks so much for all of your great correspondence on that. As always, we really appreciate it.
I do actually have a fun bit of correspondence which I missed. Also on the Facebook, this is from Lucy Thorpe. Her choice is Aerosmith's Crazy. She had a big Aerosmith phase when she was about 10, and my mum recorded their music videos off MTV for me, including Crazy. I so wanted to be Alicia Silverstone or Liv Tyler, skipping school and being cool. I was a bit too young to want to drive around topless like them, but I really wanted the novelty bunny sunglasses they shoplift. So a great video. I think that's a video where they write Crazy in the field with the lawnmower tractor thing, if I remember correctly. So yeah, like Stu said, thanks for everyone's correspondence. We massively appreciate it. It's really nice to connect with everyone and share thoughts. So if you do want to get in contact about anything we've talked about today, any of these music videos or your own choices or anything else related to the pod, you can find us on Twitter at allright90s, email allright90s@gmail.com, and facebook.com/allright90s, all letters, no numbers in any of those. And on Instagram, we are allright.90s.podcast. So join all those celebrities who are giving us love on social media and let us know your thoughts.
Please do. Joe, it's been absolutely fantastic to have you along on the pod again.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me back.
No, absolutely. Our pleasure. Will you come back again soon and talk about Top of the Pops music videos? Anything else that we can think of that you might be able to inform us of?
Yeah, you did point out that this was my idea, music videos. So I'll have to come up with another great idea and come back, if you'll have me.
Yeah, and yet more proof that you're trying to inveigle your way into my hosting role, because whenever you're on, just seem to go to pieces. So maybe listeners, next time it will be the Alex and Joe show as opposed to.
We'll have you on as a guest. Don't worry.
Oh, thanks, mate.
I'm thinking I might do my own podcast called Naughty Naughties, and I'll start by talking about the Californication video.
Oh god, yeah, it'd be great for us to have a rival podcast. Actually, I totally support that.
Keep me on your toes.
Yeah. Well, I should imagine what Stu would be like. My God, he'd be all over the place.
No more so than I already am.
Thanks, Joe. Awesome.
No worries.
Awesome
Thanks for having me.
Thanks to Joe Barter for that. A classic Joe episode. We don't know exactly what we're doing next time because we rarely do.
I think you could argue we didn't know what we were doing this time.
No, that's true. I mean, everyone likes a bit of rough and ready when it comes to a podcast, don't they? So
true.
I'm sure there'll be some people who really enjoyed the tin pot nature of that one, but absolutely no fault at all of Joe Barter. Very much our fault. But it was fun. So like I said, contact us if you've got any thoughts on it. But if not, then just stay tuned for the next episode where you'll have another dose of 90s nostalgia. And until then, it's goodbye from me, the Pistol from Bristol. And it's goodbye from the TBC Stu Jocelyn over there.
See you in a couple of weeks. Take care.